Hello, my viewers. Welcome to my latest video. So today we're at Windmill Orchards in Coatesville, Auckland, New Zealand, which is a popular location known for its pleasant apple picking experience. Coatesville is a rural area north of Auckland recognized for its gorgeous surroundings and quaint country vibe. The orchard is placed in a gorgeous location with rows of apple trees, providing guests with a relaxing and pleasurable outdoor experience. The orchard grows a wide range of apples, including popular varieties like Royal Gala, Braeburn, Packham, and Granny Smith. These variations appeal to a variety of tastes and applications, ranging from sweet and juicy to sour and crispy. Royal Gala's sweet taste and bright flash give it universal appeal, the ideal snack for any time, and it also works well in salads. Braeburn is a seedling that was discovered in an orchard in Nelson in 1952. Braeburns are exceptionally crisp with a solid fine texture and a powerful spicy flavor with hints of cinnamon and nutmeg. They are delicious to eat and can also be used to make pies, salads, juice, and applesauce. Packham meat is creamy white with a silky texture, and it tastes sweet and juicy. They are finest eaten fresh, but they can also be roasted. When Packham ripens, it turns a light creamy tint. Your pear will be ready to eat when it smells good and yields to light pressure at the stem end. Granny Smith was discovered by Maria Smith in Ryde, Sydney, Australia, in 1868, growing beside a creek on her farm. Granny Smith's acidic taste makes it a popular cooking apple. When heated, the pulp breaks down, also popular as an eating apple among those who enjoy a tart flavor. The apple picking season normally lasts from late summer to early autumn, or March to May in New Zealand, depending on the variety and weather conditions. Pears can be picked only in March. In addition to apple picking, the orchard frequently sells fresh, locally grown produce, allowing guests to buy additional fruits and vegetables directly from the farm. There may be a $5 entry fee per person and a charge based on the number of apples picked. Prices are often family-friendly and intended to encourage community participation. The orchard may give bags or baskets that can be useful for gathering these fruits. Because apple picking is a seasonal activity, it is advisable to check ahead of time for apple availability as well as any special events or closures. Now this is the green apple part. And there are a lot of fallen apples down here. We did not choose any green apples. I and my family did not enjoy the taste of green apples. All of the apples are stunning and exquisite. We also decided that we should not squander a single apple by plucking and then dumping it. Many guests were engaging in this activity. As I observed, it was a heartbreaking sight to observe such action. There are apples everywhere on the trees. When compared to the other apple varieties available on the farm, the green apple segment is minimal. I started strolling from one section to the other. Look at this apple tree. Also, there are a lot of apples at the bottom. Very lovely reddish apples on the tree. Even though these apples may not appear red, they are incredibly excellent. I tried one when I first came to the property. All of the apple trees in this area produce various types of red apples. All of the trees are properly planted in a row. When we initially entered the apple tree sections, we noticed a large amount of fallen apples everywhere. We were stunned to see this scene. There were more apples on the ground than on the trees. These dropped apples would go to waste, and it's terribly sad for the hard-working farmers who built this wonderful farm. I started walking and noticed a lot of fallen apples everywhere. Look at how many apples have fallen. In some areas, I could see more apples fallen than on the trees. Some trees indeed have reddish apples, while others do not. I'm not sure about that, however. I believe it is a variety of apples, and these types are also determined by their color. There is also a ladder over there. and my son is eager to climb it and get some apples. We also received a bucket when we purchased our admittance ticket. These trees produce crimson apples. My son is a bit afraid of heights, but he did manage to climb a little and is now ready to select some apples. My wife is holding the bucket, and my son has chosen a couple apples to put in it. Look at this area. There are reddish apples everywhere. A cluster of apples may be seen everywhere. Now, my kid is climbing the ladder again, trying to pick a few more apples while my wife holds the bucket for him. When the sun shines on these red apples, they turn a deeper shade of red, which is pleasing to the eyes. Look at this bunch of apples. It is quite enjoyable to watch, right? My son is now holding one apple and has given it to me so that I can record a video for my viewers. Look at this apple, which is easily collected from the farm. It looked amazing and tasted great. My youngster refuses to eat fruits because he dislikes them. He never eats any fruit. But now he reveals that he wanted to eat the apple but didn't. Next to this farm, there is another land with a contemporary house. That house seemed quite elegant. My son is attempting to hang from this apple branch, while my wife looks for red apples to pluck. Look at these red apples. This particular portion with apples appears to be very crimson in tone. I assume this region contains a different sort of apples from the one we came from. Now we're going back. This time, I decided to climb the ladder and record films of the apples from the top. There are also some beautiful reddish apples here. Please enjoy these as I shoot for you. Look at this bunch of apples. I believe each bundle would weigh about 2 kilograms. It was a beautiful sight. So, my son chose one apple for me to eat. To be honest, this was the sweetest apple I'd ever had in my life. It was quite juicy and had a lusty taste. Yes, my fingers were really sticky after eating because of the excessive sugar content. I assume this is another sort of apple. It may be, but I don't know. Even when we went strawberry picking, the strawberries from the fields were more delicious than the ones we could buy at the markets or in shops. I don't know why. The same thing happened here when the apples we ate on the farm were sweeter than those we could buy in markets or supermarkets. I thoroughly enjoyed this apple. It was too wonderful. Also, since coming to this farm, I've eaten 3 apples and my tummy is practically full. Take another look at this group of crimson apples. Do you all like this sight as much as I do? Now we're going back. Most farms in New Zealand have these kinds of tall trees. There were trees like this on our strawberry harvesting property as well. These trees are extremely tall and serve as a border between many farms. They act as a border between 2 homes or farms. Look at that lovely home over there. It is a recently erected house that looks stunning against the heavy trees in the backdrop. In New Zealand's countryside, you can find various lifestyle houses owned by wealthy individuals. I suppose all of the trees on the left side are pear trees. There were no apples on these trees, and all of them appeared to be barren of fruit. I am confident that these are pear trees because pear picking was completed a few months ago, before we arrived. My son is in a pretty good mood after visiting this farm. We can tell this by his walk alone. He is in a happy mood. We're heading back to the farm entry. We return to the location, where an elderly man hands out tickets and weighs the apples we collected from the farm. So there's a board hanging here that says Windmill Orchards. As I indicated previously, the farm sells a variety of apples and pears. My wife is currently placing the collected apples into a plastic bag. We are now outside the farm and can see several notice boards for guests. This board states that we will now have pick your own and fruit sales from the shop every weekend until the end of May. Pick your own from 10 a.m. to the last submission at 4:30 p.m. The fruit is priced at $5 a kilo, with an additional $5 entry fee per person. This board states that this will be the last year that the orchard is open for pick your own apples since the fruit is being wasted on the ground by pickers. It costs them money to not be able to reclaim those apples, and these farmers cannot afford to continue losing money. They also made it plain that you should not pick buckets of fruit. Decide you don't want them, and then dump the apples on the ground. As I previously stated, it was a very sad sight to see a large quantity of apples on the ground besides the trees. So far, I thought it was fallen apples, but after seeing this board, I understood it wasn't. However, the guests plucked these apples, and then threw them away because they no longer wanted them. Visitors typically get the opportunity to learn about many apple types, the growing process, and sustainable farming practices. Windmill Orchards occasionally sponsors events and activities, such as apple festivals or educational tours, to enhance the whole experience. Windmill Orchards in Coatesville provides a charming and enjoyable experience for people interested in apple picking. Windmill Orchards provides more than just apple picking. It is an engaging, instructive, and enjoyable experience that connects guests to nature and local agriculture. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Windmill Orchards in Coatesville is a pleasant way to spend a day in the country. Coatesville is a pleasant area with extra attractions like local cafes, parks, and picturesque walks, making it an ideal day trip destination from Auckland. Finally, my friends, I'm going to wind up this video here. I think this material gave you some ideas regarding apple farms. If you are in Auckland, I would encourage everyone to come and see this gorgeous place. If you like this content, please click the thumbs up and subscribe buttons to help my channel grow. Once again, thank you all. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video next week. Thank you.